something that is commonly referenced when we're talking about learning languages is the CEFR scale, right? Which I think is common European framework reference. Yeah. And so this basically breaks down language learning into 6 steps along the way to fluency. We have our A level, which is beginner. We have our B level, which is intermediate. And we have our C level, which is advanced. Right? Within each level, we get 2 subsections, 1 and 2. Right? So starting off with A1, A1 is basically the first month of my class. It's that survival portion, right? It is, we are able to get out of situations what we need, but because we have a set of memorized phrases, and that's about it, right? We can walk into the store, ask, where is this? Do you have this? I want this. How much is it, right? But outside of those handful of phrases, we don't really know much, right? Now, A2 is where we're starting to understand and we're starting to be able to speak a little bit and improvise, right? It's very much on things that are super familiar to us, like our family, our jobs, where we're from, maybe some travel stuff, maybe a little bit of hobbies, right? They're very short sentences, very simple sentences. There's a lot of words you're missing, right? But you're starting to, at this A2 level, produce a little bit of Spanish, and be able to speak a little bit of Spanish, be able to understand some simple, direct words and sentences, right? This in the survival course is about somewhere in the 3rd unit. So week 5, 6, right, out of 8 is where we get to this level. Right? Now moving on to B, which is intermediate, right? B1, so B1 is we can understand the main points on familiar matters, right? So that's things we find in work, school, some hobbies, right? Most of the situations that are going to pop up if you're traveling in the country where the language is spoken, you'll be able to deal with as long as it's like a normal situation, right? You can make some more complex sentences, right, about things that are familiar to you, right? You can just talk about things that have happened, experiences, events, dreams, your hopes and your wishes, right? And this B1 level is where I hope to get you as we wrap up our course, right? Get you to this, like, getting towards this B1 level, right? B2, which is the spot I would like to get you after our intermediate class, is you're understanding most of what is being said, most of the conversation going on around you, right, is understood by you. You're getting involved in, like, more technical discussions, more specific discussions around things you're familiar with, whether that's your work or a hobby, right? You're able to summarize. You're at this point, you're independent in the language. You're having normal interactions with native speakers without much strain on either party, right? You're speaking and writing about a huge range of subjects, and you're able to explain your viewpoint. Maybe not with the detail, the finer detail that you put in English, but you're able to have most conversations. Moving up to C1 to C level, this is like our advanced, right? C1 is kind of the level you're shooting for if you want to use the language in a professional context where the language is not the base, right? So this isn't C1 is not something you could interpret with, most likely. We're using it kind of in, like, maybe customer service or sales, right? We're understanding most of what is being said and spoken and what we're reading. We're using the language super flexibly. There's obviously some words and stuff that you don't know, but for the most part, you're fine. Right? And then once we get to C2, you, for most intents and purposes, are functionally fluent. Right? There's going to be some words that pop up that you don't know. Maybe you make some mistakes when you're speaking, but you're using the language in any context that you could use English, right? Because even in English, there's words that you don't know that if they popped up, you would be confused, right? It's always going to happen, right? But C2 is basically completely fluent. You're using it in any context you could in English, right? So go ahead and leave down below. What level do you think you're at? And what level would you like to get to in the next 6 months of language study? Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, all that jazz. And if you have any questions, leave them down below as well. Muchas gracias por ver este video. Espero que les haya gustado y espero vernos pronto en clase.